the model has a new favorite, and it is the
Sure
aforementioned Josh Allen-led Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, can't say I'm totally shocked here. They were a value play last week's show, 10.8% plus 1,000. They're now the Dimers model favorite, plus 650, 18.6% probability. That's an edge with our fair odds at plus 440, which is right where the Seahawks and Rams were sitting last week. So they're, you could see how they've moved up. You could see exactly where the model is placing them in the hierarchy of the teams that are left. Feels maybe like it was a little too obvious, the first playoffs that Josh Allen is in without Patrick Mahomes, the hump that he couldn't get over. It's the perfect opportunity for him to get that elusive Super Bowl win. I mean, even to reach there, as we know, that's already been an obstacle. Still got to win 2 more to get there. But, he took over that game. We saw the same stuff from him that made him an MVP a year ago, that would have made him an MVP candidate this year, had a couple games gone differently, or they win the division. Frankly, this might be the last chance to get the Bills at what you would consider a solid price. They're already road favorites in Denver. We'll talk about that in a bit. That game could get a little interesting the way that line moves between now and Saturday. But you do have to kind of wonder if Josh Allen's enough. He did everything he could in that game. It did end up being enough. Maybe they got a break, though, that Trevor Lawrence did throw that pick, because you probably think they're at least getting down there and kicking the field goal and forcing OT in that game, if not anything else. But just like the offense there's some concerns there. There's really no one in that passing game you're scared about. Khalil Shakir is really solid, but probably a wide receiver 2 on most teams. Caught 12 of 12 targets versus Jacksonville, a whopping 82 yards. Not a very efficient passing game for someone who was getting that kind of volume. Brandon Cooks is now basically the wide receiver 2 in this offense, tied 2 other pass catchers with 3 receptions. So you're going to need to see more. Players are going to have to step up outside of Josh Allen. While he may rush and pass for touchdowns, he cannot also catch all of the TDs, and they are going to need some help, I think, especially against a really good Broncos defense. We'll talk about that game in depth in a little bit, but it's definitely looking like the Bills, maybe not the team to beat, but the model's high on them. It's giving them a lot more love even than it was last week.
Yeah, we kind of called it out last week. Just there's definitely a world at the end of this with all this parity this year that we look back and say, how did we not see Josh Allen coming? The only thing standing in his way was Patrick Mahomes and, the gauntlet that was even with Lamar Jackson in the playoffs in recent years. And suddenly you look up and it's a bunch of quarterbacks that haven't really been there before, and Josh Allen's going to make the plays when needed. He made them last week. I thought Jacksonville was arguably the better side pretty clearly in that game, and Josh Allen stepped up in the clutch and made the plays, and then his defense tipped the ball. We'll see. It's going to be a totally different test against Denver. And I think, this speaks to where we're at. While the Bills are the favorite, and that's not a surprise to me whatsoever now, this is still, there's 3 teams right up there between 16 and 18% probability here. I think when we get closer later this week into like a full Bills Broncos preview, the most likely Super Bowl champion right now is a team that is not even exactly showing a huge edge to win their next game. So, you've got to be smart. It's all about value when you're betting futures. And we'll be honest too, at this point in the bracket, you're probably not going to get the value you would have gotten a week ago backing any of these believers. But I think seeing the Bills right now at 6.5 to 1 is the best price, over double what you're getting either the Rams or the Seahawks are. That's not anything. I don't know. It doesn't feel right to me, given that they have the best quarterback left in the playoffs. I stand with the model that the Bills are a little underpriced right now.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to overcome those little obstacles game to game. It's not always the most likely or the best fit team, and sometimes the luck and the situational football comes into play down the line. But yeah, outside the Bills, you got the Rams, Seahawks, like you said, all within 2% of that. Texans, a little bit of a value play here, I think. 11.2% plus 850. That'd be fair, about plus 790. And then you got the Broncos, who we had at the same probability as the Bills just last week, at 9.4% and plus 850. Fair at plus 960. Granted, this is going to differ slightly from our money line probabilities, which we have Bills versus Broncos in the game, as this is futures model works a little differently. So while we may see something a little different when we look at that game, you got to look big picture, factor in all the possible opponents and the paths. And thus the model gives the Bills the most favorable opportunity. Bears, that team of destiny, 7.1% is the lowest here, but you're getting a little bit of value here, plus 1,600. I mean, that's pretty great odds in the second round of the playoffs. Obviously, if they get through, they'll probably be no longer than 800 or so, faced up against whoever wins Niners, Seahawks, that is. But I did play a little Bills Bears matchup just before that round got started. So we'll see what happens there. The model's favorite and least likely now. So
yeah, there you go. Oh, why not? Just the perfect sandwich bet, you could say. I like it. Yeah, it's interesting looking at this full landscape. I think I would be wanting to jump in and invest on the Bears, given the whole destiny angle I'm pitching here, if they didn't have Los Angeles awaiting them. I think if they fall 3 scores behind Matt Stafford and Puka Nacua, you can kiss this goodnight. They're going to have to completely flip the script on how their last month of games have gone in order to win that ball game. Maybe they get a blizzard game. I don't know. There are plenty of ways to emerge victorious here. But I think even despite my pitch that I can't believe what they're doing right now, I'm going to be expecting a Bears loss finally this upcoming week. We shall see. But reminder, Dimers Pro is what you need. All of this. If you want our futures models updates in real time, again, we're refreshing this daily at this point. You can see minute by minute changes as new prices come through. Get Dimers Pro, promo code podcast. Get yourself 50% off as a first-time purchaser of Dimers Pro.